Hi everybody, if you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I am a gut health nutrition coach, so I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues using the principles of ancestral nutrition as well as some other holistic health practices. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over 8 common reasons why your gut is not healing. So if you have been trying to heal gut issues like bloating, constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain, acid reflux, anything like that for a long time, whether that's been, 4 months, a year, 5 years, 20 years. If you've been trying for a long time and you're not making the progress that you want to be making, either it's going very slow or there's no progress at all, or you were going along on your gut healing journey, things were going great and improving, and then bam, you hit a big roadblock and you haven't been able to progress, or progression has been very slow from there, then this video is for you because, like I said before, I'm going to be going over 8 very common reasons why this happens, why you either just aren't seeing any progress to begin with, or why you hit the roadblock. So basically, these are the things I see most often when I'm talking to people who are interested in working with me, or when I'm talking to a brand new client. This is a very important thing. We need to find out why you're not progressing in order to make sure you do progress. So yeah, that's where these are coming from. These are just the things that I honestly see the most often. But before we get too far into the video, I do want to mention that I have a couple of spots open in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing, right now. So if after you watch this, you're like, wow, I just really want help, I think that's how I'll progress the fastest, which is definitely how you'll progress the fastest. And you want to hear more about that, I will talk about it more at the end, but I also want to mention I'm currently running a sale on my program. So I am offering my whole program, Ancestral Gut Healing, for 40% off right now, which is an insane bargain for what you get. So if you want to hear more about what I offer in the program and what's up with that sale, it's going on until next Tuesday, the 6th. So yeah, if you want to hear more about that, just stick around till the end of the video. But anyway, back to the topic for today. So yeah, you've been trying to heal your gut for a really long time and it's just not happening. What are these reasons? So I'm just going to jump right into it. So number 1 is not being consistent enough. Now, sometimes it's easy to kind of trick ourselves and go, man, I've been trying this for so long. Why hasn't it worked? So it's really important to be honest with yourself. If you're starting to feel that way, hey, I've been trying this diet, I've been trying this, I've been incorporating bone broth, I've been, doing something like that, having apple cider vinegar water or whatever it is that you've been trying, and you're like, hey, it is not helping. Then what you want to do is really think about, okay, how consistent have I been with this? Am I honestly doing it as much as I need to? Say you tried cutting out gluten and cutting out grains. 2 basic things. They're super helpful. Obviously, you do need to do more to heal your gut, but to see if it's making an improvement. Now, okay, have you honestly cut those out every day for, at least 4 to 6 weeks? Because if you're doing it here and there, and then you're kind of having it, and you're like, oh, this isn't working, it's like, well, you're not really following it, so it's not really fair to say it's not working. Or, this is another one I see, people find out about something new, they start incorporating, bone broth, or again, let's just stick with they cut out gluten and grains, and they try it for 2 weeks, and they go, wow, I'm not better, this isn't working. Well, it's not really fair to think that one thing is going to undo all of the damage and imbalances that you've created over years to get to your gut issues in 2 weeks. So you have to give it at least, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks. Something you should see improvements in 4 to 6 weeks. So if you are doing something and you're not getting any better, you don't see any changes in 4 to 6 weeks, I would say it's probably not working, or it's just not everything you need, because again, cutting out gluten and grains is awesome, but it's not the whole picture. It's not everything you need. That being said, you still could definitely see an improvement in 4 or 6 weeks. Probably won't see it in 2 weeks though. So yeah, be really honest with yourself. Are you being consistent about the things that you should be doing? Are you being consistent with exercise? Are you being consistent with avoiding sugar? All those things, whatever knowledge you have now, are you being consistent? So then let's see. One other note on there is one other mistake I tend to see is jumping from thing to thing. So, of course, you want to heal. You're looking things up online, you're watching videos, and you're coming across different things. And it's really exciting to hear, oh my God, this thing, whatever it is, could help me heal. And you obviously want to try it, but be careful not to jump around too much from one thing to the next, or you're not going to be consistent with 1, 2, 3 things long enough to tell if they're helping. So really try to have a little bit of patience. Again, it shouldn't take that long. Most of my clients heal their gut issues in 3 months or are almost healed in 3 months. So this isn't something that has to take forever, but at the same time, we have to be a little bit patient with our bodies and give ourselves a few weeks or a month or two to start seeing these changes. So try not to hop from thing to thing all the time as well. Of course, try new things, but yeah, try to be consistent. Okay, so number 2, I see people focus on the wrong things. So basically what I mean here, a big one is I'll see people focus on little tiny things that won't make as big of a difference. Of course, it can be hard to know whether something is worth it or not when you're looking all this stuff up on your own. But one thing you really want to focus on here is the things you implement should make a big difference. Exercise is a great example. Exercising regularly helps your body with like a million things. It helps with cardiovascular health. It helps with lymphatic flow. It helps with your muscles. It helps with your digestive health. It helps with your mental health, like decreasing stress and so many different things. So that is a great example of something that'll make a big difference. Nailing your diet down. Your diet affects like everything. So really nailing that down is super important. Managing stress, super important. Stress affects everything. So those are good examples of things that you should be putting your attention on when you're thinking about gut healing. So you don't want to be like focusing on all these little tiny things. Like, okay, what's the exact fasting window I should have? Should I add these like 10 new supplements in? Is this exact food gonna like ruin my diet, or should I be, I don't know, like just tiny little details aren't gonna make a huge difference. Or sometimes practices are great, like dry brushing is awesome, doing the neti pot is awesome, but if you have like a million of those that you're doing all the time, it can get really overwhelming. So maybe you just don't need to do those things. So you really want to focus on the most important things. Let's see, what do I have here? Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. I guess 2 other things I'll see people really go down the wrong route here is just trying to get testing after testing after testing. Testing can be helpful, but it's oftentimes not necessary, and it's more important what you do after it anyways. So, if a test tells you you've got dysbiosis, like it's more important to just be treating gut dysbiosis in the first place. And if you feel you need that confirmation to know what you're doing, like that's totally fine, but try not to get like sucked into the like I have to do all these tests, because what you really have to do is do the action steps you need to heal your gut. And the other one is supplements. I'll see people think that, oh, this supplement will heal my gut, this collagen supplement will heal it, this probiotic supplement will heal it, and those things can help you. Absolutely, I prefer bone broth and fermented foods personally. I like food over supplements, but try not to think this pill will fix me, because it won't. You need a whole well-rounded gut healing approach that's focused on the things that'll make the biggest difference. So I hope that one kind of made sense. Basically, it's just try not to get focused on all these little tiny details and kind of, led astray by that. Okay, number 3 is you're too stressed. I cannot tell you how often I hear this. This is almost every single one of my clients, and probably almost everyone I talk to on calls who are interested in joining ancestral gut healing as well. And just people I talk to in life all the time. Stress is so common, and it is so important to realize the effect it has on your health. I have a lot of clients that deal with constipation and are eating excellent diets. I have people that come to me already eating excellent diets, and they just still are struggling with constipation. And it's almost always stress related. Diet is super important, but when you already have the dietary side down and all the other stuff down, it's usually stress. So a lot of people know stress is important to deal with, but it's really hard to take action on. And it's so important. So kind of tying back to the tip before, I would rather you focus really hard on like 3 ways you can decrease stress in your life. I would rather you really get that down than try incorporating all these different supplements, or I don't know, like trying a strict elimination diet or just various different things. I'd rather you really focus on stress. And I do have a video all about managing stress where I walk you through it's basically like a journaling exercise of identifying the things that are stressing you out in your life. And then I give you basically practical tips and I help you brainstorm ways to actually go about decreasing that. And I also really focus on, as you're going about your day and stress comes up, what can you do then? Because that's the most important time really to decrease stress. So anyway, if you're interested in that video, I'll link it up in the corner. One of those little tag thingies. Anyway, so that's a huge one. I see people not really putting in the work to decrease stress because it's really hard, and it's probably easier to take a pill, but it's going to be more effective if you focus on stress. So then number 4 is, let's see, your healing protocol and or diet just isn't realistic for your lifestyle. If you have something that requires you to be home, to cook lots of things all day long, but you work away from home all the time, that's probably not going to work. If you, I don't know, if you have 7 kids and are super busy with that all the time and just don't have time to cook a bunch, it also wouldn't work for that. What am I trying to say here? Basically, you have to start with a plan that you know you can stick to. It can be a tiny bit out of your comfort zone. It can be a little challenge, but it shouldn't be something that you write it down and you go, yeah, right, I'm going to stick to that. You do not want that. So one example is I have a client, Derek, and he had gastritis, esophagealitis. Basically, he had burning in his throat, diarrhea, digestive cramping, issues like that. And we just did a really simple approach for him because he worked 11 hours, 5 days a week. And he works out. He goes to the gym 5 days a week too. And he has kind of a long commute to work and works kind of late into the night. Anyway, he has a busy life. So his plan had to be simple so he could actually heal. So he cooked his food, he prepped his food to bring to work, but he just kept it really, really simple. He did a lot of steak and rice or ground beef and rice, things like that, and liver pate and sauerkraut and all the good stuff you need. But he just kept it really simple and stuck with that. We didn't add a lot of fancy things. We really focused on the diet for him. And and he healed all his issues in 2 months. He got off all of his medications. He had no more diarrhea, no more esophagealitis, gastritis, any of those things. All of his symptoms went away. So basically what I'm trying to illustrate here is, instead of focusing on a bunch of different things, we really stripped it down to a simple diet that worked for his lifestyle, and he was able to heal. So that's a great example there. If you want to hear more about Derek's story too, I interviewed him and he talked about his transformation and what he felt like helped him the most. So if you want to see that, I'll link that one up above too. And then one other client example is my client, Darian. She is a police officer and she works night shifts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every other weekend. So she was telling me basically these 3 long night shifts in a row were kind of her hardest point. So we really focused on what can she do diet-wise to stick to her diet on that part, because it's the hardest part for her, because she loves cooking and she cooks all the time the other parts of the week, but what does she do for these? So she started to prep really simple things. I gave her very simple ideas. She started to make sure she was saving leftovers right before her shifts, and then she got down some go-to meals that she said she could grab the stuff for in 30 seconds, and by that Sunday, that's what she needed. She needed to sleep all the way till she had to leave and grab these few healthy things literally in 30 seconds to bring to work. And that's what allowed her to heal. She had acid reflux, she had bloating, gas, intestinal pain, things kind of like that. And she overcame those in 3 months. So for her, a huge part was actually figuring out what she could bring to work, what she could pack quickly, and what would work in the long term. So I also interviewed her recently, so I'll link her story up below too, or above if you want to see that too. But anyway, so you really need to make sure that what you're doing works for your lifestyle. It's reasonable, it's sustainable, and will work in the long run. So then Number 5 is you haven't addressed the root cause. So, for example, say you have acid reflux and you've taken antacids, or even if you know that you should be increasing stomach acid and you've been doing the apple cider vinegar water drink, which works really well for people, it's still not a long-term fix. You have to address the root cause of why you're not producing enough stomach acid. So basically, yeah, if you are using kind of Band-Aid solutions, even if they're holistic ones, you're not going to heal. It's only going to work for so long. So, same kind of thing with constipation. If you're using laxatives, even if they're more natural laxatives like slippery elm or, Casca Sangrada, however you say that one. If you're using a more natural one, it's still not fixing the root cause. Those things are totally fine to use from time to time, but you have to be addressing the root cause at the same time if you want to heal for the long run. So that's another huge thing I see. People can have a hard time figuring out what the root cause of their issues is. And if they can't figure it out, they can't do it, or they can't heal it, or maybe they kind of have an idea, but they're not quite sure how to go about healing it. So that is a huge thing that can stall your progress. Number 6 is if your diet isn't conducive to gut healing. So one really common mistake I see here is people go too restrictive and they have some kind of crazy elimination diet, which can certainly be helpful for a lot of people, but most people with gut issues don't need to go that restrictive. So if you go too restrictive, a very common thing that happens is suddenly you're not getting enough nutrients in because you've restricted out all these food groups that you actually need the nutrients from. So you want to make sure your diet is not too restrictive and it's very nutrient rich, so you have those nutrients you need to build and heal and repair your body. And then the other thing I see is obviously not restricting enough. You do need to restrict a few things out of your diet that are harming your gut. I mean, improperly prepared grains, a bunch of gluten, vegetable oils, sugar, processed foods, alcohol is not going to work if you want to heal your gut. So yeah, if you're not cutting out the things that you do actually have to cut out, that is another big issue I see. So overall, just not having your diet nailed down to actually heal your gut efficiently. Number 7, if you don't believe you can heal. Now this one might sound funny, but our mindset and what we believe dramatically affects our life. So if you don't really believe that you can heal these issues, then that's going to affect the action that you take. So if you sit down or you go to make dinner and you know that you should be eating, whatever, let's say a soup with chicken and some veggies in it made from bone broth, and you have some sauerkraut on the side or something like that. You have good meals and you don't think that you're actually going to heal from doing that. You are much more likely to go, you know what, I don't feel like making this soup. I'm just gonna have like peanut butter on toast, or I'm just gonna order out from my favorite restaurant or something like that. So you're much more likely to basically like cheat your protocol and not do the things you need to if you don't believe it's gonna heal you. Because if you don't believe it's gonna heal you, what's the point in even doing it? So this is not always quite as obvious. Sometimes there's a little doubt, and if you have a little doubt, don't feel bad about yourself. That's totally understandable. If you've never healed your gut before, it's understandable to be like, am I actually able to do this? I assure you, you absolutely can. But make sure you're building up that confidence over time and you're telling yourself, I can heal. Other people have healed. I'm capable of healing. Make sure you have an approach you're confident in. So many other people have healed doing exactly what I'm doing, so of course I'll heal too. Starting to change the way you approach this is really, really important. For example, I had a knee injury. I had like 3 knee injuries, but at one point when my knee was injured a few years ago, I was really discouraged because I kept re-injuring it. It wasn't healing very fast. I was just really, really struggling. And basically what I told myself is I will try to heal this. I would rather try to heal this the rest of my life and fail than to give up, because I really know I can heal. I know my body's strong. I know it's capable. I'll be able to climb up steep, heavy mountains again, and I'll be able to backpack and do all the things that I love. And I just kind of kept focusing on that. Like I'd picture myself climbing up a really steep mountain with a big heavy backpack on, and it feeling good. And I just kept really envisioning that I can heal, I'm healing, my body's capable of this. And that impacted me. So I was super consistent about my physical therapy exercises. I was super consistent about my diet and making sure I had bone broth and lots of healing, nutrient-rich foods in my diet. I was really good at starting to tune into my body, like, can I push it a little and do this hike today, or do I really need to back off? So basically the same thing is true with your gut healing. So if you really believe you can heal, you'll be more stoked to stick with your diet. You'll be more stoked to do all the things you need to do to really heal. You will put more energy, you'll put more effort into it. So yeah, it's really important that if you currently do not believe you can heal or don't fully believe you can heal, to start changing your mindset on that, because it will help you get there so much faster. And it might sound a little fake, or it might sound a little weird, but just starting to tell your body, like, I can heal, my body's capable of this. And if it doesn't feel true yet, just keep telling yourself it, and it'll feel more real over time. And then you'll start to see the results, and you can use that as proof to yourself. So my body's capable of healing, You stick to your diet a while, like, whoa, I'm bloated less. My bowel movements are healthier and more regular or more full or whatever. Wow, my body really is capable of healing. So then you'll start to use things in your life as evidence to support that claim, and you'll be more confident. So that's the next one. And then the last one I have might sound kind of funny, but it's if you have toxin overload. So if you're exposed to a lot of environmental toxins, pesticides, plastic, things in like cleaning products and beauty products, like parabens and those kinds of things, and fragrance and like candles and all sorts of things like that, or heavy metals and stuff in tap water. If you're exposed to a lot of these, or you've just been exposed over life and really built up a lot of stores of toxins, this can inhibit your healing process. So it's really important that you minimize your exposure to toxins, and also that you start safely flushing out those stored ones. If you have constipation, you likely are storing a lot of toxins, because your bowel movements is one of the largest ways that you eliminate toxins in your body. So these are very harming to your gut lining. They can store in tissues, they can lead to autoimmune diseases, they can lead to cancers, they can lead to so many issues. So just be aware that's another reason that you might not be healing, is if you have a lot of toxins stored in your body, you're exposed to a lot of toxins, those do a lot of damage in your body, especially when they pile up all together. It's not like touching plastic once or touching one receipt is going to do something big. It's that you're like, a lot of your food touched plastic, you touch this receipt, then you drink tap water, then someone sprayed chemicals that you inhaled. It's just the accumulation of all of these things. So those are the most common reasons. I'll recap them again real quick here. So yeah, the most common reasons that your gut healing progress has just stalled or just isn't happening at all are: number 1, not being consistent; number 2, focusing on the wrong things; number 3, you're too stressed; number 4, your healing protocol and diet just isn't realistic for your lifestyle; number 5, you haven't addressed the root cause; number 6, your diet isn't conducive to gut healing; number 7, you don't believe you can heal; and number 8, you have toxin overload. So hopefully that helped you kind of figure out some of these things that might be contributing to your stalled progress on your gut healing journey. And if you want more help with this, that is exactly what I do with my clients. This is a very brief overview. I go much more in depth with people, and I help them figure out what their exact root causes are, what will work best for their lifestyle, what are meals they can prep, what foods will work better for them. So I really help you come up with a personalized plan to heal your gut issues at the root. And also I help you basically ingrain habits that will keep you healthy for the long run. So that's what I help people with in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I am currently offering a sale. So if you're watching this before Tuesday, June 6, 2023, I'm offering 40% off right now. So basically the way that you can get that is if you book a call with me. I'll leave a link down below. yeah, so if you book a call with me there, basically, this is a free call. You can tell me about what you're dealing with gut health wise, where you want to be, what you're struggling with. And then I can explain, how I can help you to heal your gut issues. I can go in more detail into what I offer with my program, answer any of your questions. Yeah, and then if you decide to sign up, that's how you can get the 40% off. Now, if you're watching this in the future, I won't have the 40% off sale going on because I rarely have sales, but I likely will still have some room, or most likely will still have some room. So if you are watching it way in the future and you still want to hear more about my program, you can always still book a call below. And yeah, and if you want to hear any more like sale updates, I really talk about that on my Instagram. So I'll leave a link to my Instagram below too if you want to follow me there. I share things a little more frequently, and yeah, I'll have more updates on the sale there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, consider subscribing. I share lots of videos on gut health and ancestral nutrition as well. You could share it with a friend if you know anyone who could benefit from it. Like, comment, anything like that helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. So see you next time.